My name is Mike Charite. I'm a gold consultant with Team Sky, joined Evolution in April, and super excited to be here and introduce you guys to an amazing company called Select International Tours. I've been privileged to work with them for the last 3 or 4 years, and they do some amazing faith-based tours. So we're really excited to share with you guys and take your questions today. So I want to introduce my friend Matt Masczak. He is the Marketing and Client Relations Manager for Select International. And Matt, I know you've been with them a long time. Thanks for taking the time to be here with us today.
Absolutely. Glad to be here.
Awesome. So I'm going to just kind of volley a few questions your way, and then we'll follow the chat, take questions, and kind of see what everybody wants to learn about. But why don't you just start off, give us kind of an introduction to Select International.
Sure. Okay. Select International Tours, we're a faith-based group tour operator. We're based in Flemington, New Jersey, but we do serve the entire country. And we have groups from all over the country. Generally, in an average year, we're running between 100 to 130 trips overseas to faith-based locations. So our primary market is the Catholic market. So we travel on a lot of pilgrimage trips to places like Israel, the Holy Land, Italy, France, Spain, etc. Pretty much anywhere where there is a shrine or a cathedral, which is most of Europe. So we do trips all over there. We've also become known for one of our products that is pretty unique in the faith-based market, and that is our pilgrimage river cruises. So we do cruise the Seine, the Danube, the Douro, and the Rhine. And we also do some tours that include cruises in Greece and Croatia, etc. So we do a lot of those things. And those trips are unique to the way that a lot of other tour operators do faith-based cruising, because we generally charter the entire ship so that everyone on board is of the same faith, and there's no it makes it really easy for everybody on board to enjoy the trip and have a similar experience. So that's a really quick summation of who we are or what we do, but who we are, I think, is important too. Our president of Select is Adita Krunic, and she began this company 36 years ago, actually now. And she came back from an incredible experience for her in Medjugorje, and which is in Bosnia-Herzegovina, where she was originally from, and began sending pilgrims there. We became the first U.S. company to do so, and now it's a popular destination for many Catholics and Orthodox Christians as well. And now we travel all over the world. So we like to say that we work with the best Catholic leaders in the business, and we do. We have a lot of really high-profile Catholic group leaders that travel with us. And we also travel with a lot of parish priests, as well as pastors and theologians and speakers from not only the Catholic market, but also the Orthodox Christian or Protestant Christian markets. So that's a really quick summation of who we are and what we do. And I'd love to talk about more specifics with you as you need.
Yeah, for sure. There's a ton there to break down, and it really, somebody who's kind of worked on the outside and seen what you guys do over the last 3 or 4 years, it's incredible what Adita has built, and what you guys as a team accomplished, because you're a relatively small team for all of the amazing work that you guys do. I mean, it's incredible. I do want to just kind of start off and touch on the elephant in the room, because obviously we're all aware of what's going on in the Middle East right now, and I know that's a big part of what you guys have done was Holy Land and everything. So can you talk just a little bit, not necessarily about the situation, but kind of where it's leaving faith-based groups at the moment, and kind of where you guys are seeing changes being made?
Sure. Yeah. The Holy Land has been a very popular destination throughout history, but specifically since the pandemic, the Holy Land has been a very popular destination. And 2023 and early 24 were set to be the biggest travel years for the faith-based groups to those destinations. Obviously, that's stopped for the moment. Yeah. And we're hoping that it will resume soon. But it's anybody's game or anybody's guess, as when exactly that will start back up. Thankfully, though, like I alluded to earlier, we have many other destinations that we travel to. and many of them are very popular destinations as well. So some of the groups that were traveling to Israel in the next, several months are now traveling to places like Greece, or to Italy or France or Spain. So we have a lot of groups moving to those destinations as well.
Yeah. Well, and I also want to touch on, because it's one of the things to me that makes you guys so special. You guys have this whole nonprofit side of the business, and I know you guys have been really active in helping the people on the ground over there. Do you want to share maybe just a little bit about Select to Give?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So Select to Give is a 501c3 nonprofit charity. IRS recognized that Adida began about 6 or 7 years ago now, and it was specifically to help the Christian population that lives in Israel, specifically in Nazareth, Jerusalem, and Bethlehem, where that population is dwindling quickly. And the reason is because most of them work in tourism, and any interruption like this can dramatically affect their income. And they're kind of between a rock and a hard place politically and religiously and everything else. So the foundation that we created supports several different things that happened over there, including an orphanage for severely disabled, a special needs education center for youth that need that, as well as micro grants and loans for small businesses to begin to bring in additional income, as well as direct financial support in times of crisis like right now. So in the past 30 days, Select to Give has sent over $61,000 to humanitarian efforts in Gaza, as well as Bethlehem, Nazareth, and Jerusalem. And that's in addition to our normal support. And a portion of every fee on every tour that we do goes to support that, in addition to matching that we do for donations. The beautiful thing about that charity is it's completely volunteer run, so there is no overhead. 100% of every dollar raised for that charity goes directly to the places where we are doing the work. So there's no money taken out in administration or anything else along the way. So every dollar there goes directly to the people that need it, and that's something we're really proud of.
Yeah, I love that. And I know you guys have even done some really unique trips, or where you've offered service opportunities for people to go and volunteer. And I think as a travel agent, as somebody who's out there kind of talking to clients, and these are some of the things that really make a difference for me when I'm approaching a church or I'm talking to a private group about, the trip. These are some of the things that really make you guys special. And it lets people, in addition to having an incredible life-changing experience, they're also giving back, and they're also able to support people when they really need it. So kudos to you guys. That's
Thank you.
always been one of the special things for me. So going down that road, because we are all travel agents, what sort of customers are you guys looking for? What sort of opportunities do you see for the travel agent community to partner with you guys? And what kind of trips can we look at?
Definitely. Okay. So there is, a lot of opportunity, because like I said, we have about 120 trips a year on our website. And one of the things that makes us unique in the faith-based market is that every single one of our trips is unique and crafted specifically for that group. So we don't do multiple departures that are the same. Even on the cruise ships, we may have multiple groups on the cruise ship, but each group has its own independent itinerary, which may be similar, but usually has some specific things for that group. So what I would suggest, and if it's okay, Mike, here, I'm just going to go share screen real quick.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Let me just give you a quick walkthrough, just making sure you guys can see the screen, Mike.
Yep. Looks
Okay,
great.
so this is our website, selectinternationaltours.com. If you hover over enroll now, you can search by date or destination. But just to give you kind of an idea of the many opportunities that we have in here, we have trips from everything from Italy and Christmas in Rome to, France, Spain, Greece, Mexico, and then Holy Land. Hopefully these will all be going in the spring. All of these trips are very unique in what they do, and they're crafted for the pilgrimage leader, who is usually the person pictured on this. So this is where that's interesting, I think, for you, is if you have a client that is looking for a religious trip, specifically a pilgrimage. And for those of you that aren't familiar with the difference between a religious vacation and a pilgrimage, a pilgrimage really is specifically geared towards the spirituality. So in our trips, a priest goes on every one of these to do things like say mass and administer the sacraments and lead people through it. But we also have local guides from the areas that we're traveling that will also help out with guiding through the different cities and locales and customs and everything else that have to go along with that. So people get a really wide view of the places that they travel to, everything from culture to religion to the specifics. And pretty much, if you have a client that's looking to do a trip to Israel, for instance, in the fall, or Poland or Greece, and they have dates that work out, you can put them on almost any one of our trips. Just to let you know, there are some trips that are private. In other words, the group leader has identified them as only taking people from their group. So the best thing to do is, if you find a trip that might fit, go ahead and give us a call. I will drop my name. In fact, I think I already did put my name and email address in the chat, and you can drop me a line and just ask if that trip is available to add people to. Just so you know, if you're putting someone on in departure that we already have set up, we do pay out a 10% commission on that for you as the as a travel agent. But another thing that I think is really interesting and could be beneficial for you is when you do have an organization like a church or a school or something that comes to you and is like, hey, I want to do a group trip for our church. This is an area where you can not only help us out, but really help yourself out as well. We will put together trips for any group of 20 people or more. Okay. And so if you have a church that comes to you and they want to put on a pilgrimage, but they don't know who to call, now you know who to call. And you can give us a call. We will work with you and the leader of that organization to develop a customized itinerary. And then we will handle all the details and arrangements for that. So and that basically will give you a contract that's a net rate. So you can figure out your markup and what your market can bear in that. So that's a unique opportunity that I don't think a lot of travel agents realize is available. And to give you an idea of the kind of things that we do, it's not just, go to a bunch of churches. We do we actually won an innovation award for our food and faith pilgrimages, which are pilgrimages that incorporate things like wine tours, brewery tours, distilleries, as well as world-class cuisine. So we focus on a lot of really interesting cultural experiences in addition to spiritual experiences, and make these trips really an all-encompassing thing.
Yeah, that makes me think about the Sharing the Bread program you guys do in the Holy Land. I think that's something that's really unique. Do you want to maybe share about that? Because that's a really cool immersive experience that not a lot of companies are able to offer.
Sure. So this is an experience that was born through Select to Give, our charity. What we do is, one of the things that a lot of our pilgrims were reporting back was, when they got to places like Bethlehem, they felt like they saw the sights and they were beautiful, but they really wanted to understand the culture more. And so we really dug in on that. And what we've done is we've created what we call Sharing the Bread, which is, we take our group, maybe it's 40 people, we break them up into smaller groups of 5 to 7 people, and we actually host them at dinner in a family's home in Bethlehem. And they share a meal, they talk, they play games, they really get to know the people that are living there, and understand what they see and face every day, and it brings a connection point to that trip that goes far beyond visiting a church and going to a restaurant.
Yeah, I remember a video from one of the trips that one of our mutual friends, Steve Angrosano, did, and he was in there with his guitar and singing music with the what I think was like an 8-9-year-old kid from the family, and just a really, really cool moment. So Guys, I've got a couple more questions I'm going to run through, but feel free to put your questions in the chat, and we can get to those in just a second if you have any. So, you talked about the different kinds of trips that, we could look at, whether it's, sort of working in the trips that you guys already have together or a private like net rate trip.
Mhm.
If we are looking at the website, we find some tours, that we want to promote, what kind of assets are we able to use? I mean, can we just go on the website and download the brochure and start pushing that out?
Absolutely, yeah. So if you go to any trip on our website here, I'll pop back over here and share screen one more time. Um, let's just say that you like this trip here that we're looking at to Greece. You can just click on it, and within here will be all the pricing and everything else that you need to know, as well as a brochure. And these brochures are easy to print from your location, and they'll go through all the details about the trip. Usually they talk about the group leader and everything down to terms and conditions. So those are a good asset for someone that's serious about doing a trip, and also for you to really understand the product. If you need other assets, you want things like digital copies of the brochure or images, again, you have my email in the chat. Please just feel free to reach out to me. As the marketing director, I can help you get those things to promote. And sometimes these come up, Mike and I were talking off the call, where you have maybe an event where you're going to have multiple churches or something at this event, or multiple organizations. You want to show off with a couple of different trips. We can even create, postcards and stuff like that, whether we send you files to print on your own, or we send you some. We do have an in-house marketing and design team, so we handle all that stuff in-house. But we can definitely get those files to you so that you can get them printed up and share them.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys, there is a whole market, churches, especially this time of year, are doing fall festivals and winter festivals. And a lot of times to get involved and get in front of their community to get like an expo table is not that expensive. And it gives you a really unique opportunity to sell direct to the parishioners, but also to get in front of the leadership to do some of these private trips. And, there's so many opportunities there. So definitely, I would encourage you guys to check out those markets in your area and see what's available. There was another question that just came to my head that I
Well, you're
lost.
thinking of it. I mean,
Yep.
just the tail end of that. We do move, generally 4,000 to 5,000 people a year. So this is not a small market. It seems like it is from the outset, but it is actually a pretty substantial and growing population, especially in the Catholic world. The Catholic world right now is seeing an interesting resurgence of younger families that are very well-to-do and willing to spend money on experiences. And these kind of travel experiences are really excellent for them, and they are gravitating towards them quickly. So definitely an interesting market, but it's definitely exists and is ripe for taking.
Yeah, and I didn't ask you this before, so if you don't have a number, that's fine. But what kind of percentage do you see that go on a trip that are like, hey, I want to come back and do another one, go somewhere else? I mean, it seems to be growing, the people that come back for a repeat.
We see a pretty heavy repeat traffic customer. It's difficult to put a number on because of some of the factors. A few years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, when I was beginning here, our demographic was very, very much older than it is now.
Yeah.
We were seeing that primary demographic at 65 plus. However, now that primary demographic is in their early 50s and even younger. And we're seeing families, even young families, 30, 35 traveling. So, and those ones that travel earlier obviously are going to be more apt to repeat. But we do have a large contingent of people that will identify with one particular group leader and will travel with that group leader every year. And we've built relationships with them. So many of them do 2, 3, or 4 different destinations every year. And they will have people that will go on all of those trips with them. So there's a pretty large contingent of that.
It's incredible. We have a question here from Casey. What are the requirements for joining and how do you do so? So I'm assuming as a travel agent, like, do we have to register with you guys in advance, or what's the best way to
So
work?
yeah, so what I would say is the best course of action is go ahead and just give me a call, drop me an email, make sure that the trip you're looking at isn't private. We want to make sure that we can get you on the trip. And then we will just enroll them on the trip. Okay. And in that process, we'll work with you to pay out the commission. Okay. We just installed a brand new reservation system that does allow us to track some of this. So we will work with you directly as you start to put those in to track your commissions. And then we pay those commissions out when the trip travels.
Yep.
So that, just as you know.
Yep, absolutely. We're all well used to that for sure.
Yep. Just want to make sure.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have any other questions in the chat that you guys want to throw at Matt? He's good at answering things on the fly, so make him hard. Make him sweat a little. All right. Well, in closing, is there anything you kind of want to close up with, or sort of final remarks? It's been really awesome having you here and learning from you guys. I'm certainly very excited to get these trips out there and start, promoting them on my side.
Definitely. No, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to get here to talk to you. I would just encourage you all, if you have a church in your area, hop in and find out if they're looking to do a pilgrimage, because many of them are, and they don't know where to begin. And you can be the place that they begin. And churches that travel a lot. They travel every year or every other year, and they do so forever. And so
Yeah.
it's a good way to get into the door of this market and to build a group and to become the expert that they call on. And we'd be happy to do that. And also look out for the special events in faith-based travel, especially, like, for instance, Italy in 2025 is having its Jubilee year, which means that there are some special events happening at the Vatican that only happen every 10 to 12 years. And people will be looking to travel to that specifically for those things. A couple of years back, we had the Oberammergau Passion Play
Yep.
that will be coming back up again in 2030. We've got some time for that one.
Yep.
But there are some events like that that happen on an irregular basis that can be a really big draw, especially for Catholics around the world.
Yeah. I mean, Oberammergau, I came in at the tail end of the marketing for the last one, but that thing sells out like 2-3 years sometimes ahead of time, because it's only once every 10 years, pandemic notwithstanding, of course. It changed a few things, but
Yep.
Alyssa, I just saw your comment. Yes, this is recorded. I'll make sure I post it, and we'll share it with all the team leaders so they can get it in all the chats. But Matt, thank you so much for being here. Really a pleasure to learn from you and introduce you to some of my fellow agents here. So again, the website is selectinternationaltours.com. And you can reach Matt. It's in the chat, but it's Matt at select-intl.com or 1-800-842-4842. Thank you guys so much for being here, and we'll look forward to working with you soon, Matt.
Great. Thanks, everybody. It was nice meeting you all.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a great night.